What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
The Vera Tommy Show. The Vera Tommy Show. The Vera Tommy Show. The Vera Tommy Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Tommy Show. Let's talk about it.
Hello, and yes, I am excited. I am so excited about my guest, and I'm just gonna pull her up right now. Hello, Miss Selena. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, well, I'm happy that you are here, and I'm going to take a few minutes and share with our audience a little bit about Selena Teasley. So let me share with our audience. Selena Teasley is a wealth management advisor. Her mission is to help women define their financial vision and understand how their decisions affect their vision. She helps them grow their wealth by being intentional about the resources they have and making the best decisions possible. After working with her, her clients gain clarity, control, and confidence in their finances. Her financial planning process takes their financial vision and marries it with their current financial position and core financial planning plan. Items such as risk management, investment planning, retirement planning, tax planning, education planning, and estate planning. These items should be structured in a way that make your financial vision come to life. She uses 4 core pillars to accomplish this: clarity, education, strategy, and accountability. Selena believes that with a solid plan and the right mindset, any goal can be accomplished. She prides herself on holding her clients accountable for the vision they see for their lives. When she works with a client, she is 100% vested in doing her part in achieving their vision. She understands that a lot of what goes on into achieving one's dreams, having the right mindset to do so, is critical. This realization allows her to help her clients stay focused on what's important. She holds an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in computer science. She made the move into financial planning. And I think I'm not going to read that. She's going to explain why she did that. I'm just going to be quiet right now. And I'm going to bring you on the floor. And I'm going to ask you to share what got you into this. You were a computer science major,
Yes.
and now you're looking at financial planning. So please share with our audience your journey.
Whew, so thank you for that. I don't think I've ever had that read in such with such enthusiasm. But yes, I started my, I guess, career in technology. I went to Albany State University for my undergrad. I got a degree in computer science. Went to Kennesaw State in Atlanta, or Kennesaw, Georgia, and got a master's in computer science. I thought I would be in computers forever. I got a job after I graduated, made great money, but when you talk about fulfillment and what makes you happy, I realized that it wasn't computers. What made me happy was what I did on the side with friends and family, budgeting and helping them with money and researching, investing, and different things like that. That brought me joy. And so after a while, I had to figure out, do I chase money or do I chase fulfillment and what makes me happy? And so I'm a financial planner, wealth management advisor. So, of course, I decided to chase what makes me happy, what makes me feel fulfilled.
That's awesome. And that reminds me of a quote by James Michener. And he says, the master in the art of living draws no distinction between his work and his play, his
Mhm.
labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation, his love or his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence through whatever it is he's doing and leaves it to others to determine whether he's working or playing. To himself, he's always doing both. And when you started sharing what you were doing for family and friends and helping them with their budgets and realizing that's my passion,
Mhm.
that's my purpose,
Mhm.
and that's what led you into what you're doing. And like you said, the computer science field, you probably were making good money, but once you discovered your passion and
Mhm.
once you discovered your purpose, the
Mhm.
money came, I'm sure. Things started happening and coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love
That
that poem. That was awesome.
Thank you. That was a quote by James Michener. And
Okay.
I committed it to memory
I see.
when I was doing career development
Okay.
and getting people to understand, if you can you
Mhm.
imagine living your life like that?
Right.
When you
Mhm.
consider a job is one third of your life,
Right.
your career is one third of your life.
Mhm.
So why not live it in your purpose and your passion?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
So let's talk about financial planning. So, just kind of give us some background on some things that people should be on that lookout for. Some experiences that
Mhm.
you might want to shed some light on with some things that is going on, and also I definitely want to talk about what's going on in our economy today,
Mhm.
because given that the dollar is only worth 3 cents, and the fact that our banks are in a tenuous situation,
Mhm.
this is stuff we need to talk about.
Right.
So
Yep.
anyway, I'm going to be quiet and give you the and give you the
So some of the things that you mentioned is why it's so important to do planning, right? And so you mentioned a little earlier in my bio about me being focused on women. And so I get asked that question sometime, why do you focus solely on women? And my answer to that is we don't focus on ourselves enough. We are mothers, we are sisters, we are best friends, we have jobs, we have a lot of different hats and we do a lot of different things, and we don't focus enough on first our self-care, what makes us happy, what makes us whole. And I like to say a lot that financial planning or financial awareness, that's a form of self-care. Self-care is designed to help reduce stress, make your life happier, different things like that. And having a solid financial picture and just being confident and comfortable with what you're doing with your money, that also reduces stress. because I'm sure that you heard, or not even heard, money issues are very stressful, right? If we're not in control of our money, we don't feel like we have enough. Money is one of the biggest stresses. And so, if you can plan and take that stress off of the table, that is definitely a form of self care. So, one, that's why I focus on women, because we don't focus on ourselves enough. And so that's kind of my give back to society. Let me help us out, because especially when it comes to retirement planning, we do everything for everybody, but we get to our golden years and we're looking, a little funny
Gary, yes, I'm
because
there.
we haven't done the proper planning to make
Yes.
sure that I love to say future you. I always bring future you into the conversation. You didn't make sure future you was okay. And so my mission, my vision is to help women to start to think about future you, help them to balance today with what they're doing for the future, because it's super important. So,
Eh, But what about those of us who are already in our golden years?
mhm,
And we really, I mean, it just didn't happen.
right.
And I don't know if you know many women that are in that
Yes,
situation or not.
yes, it's one of the
I would
reasons why
hope,
I started really focusing on women, because I started running across too many that were in their 50s and wanted to retire and realized they couldn't. And so I hate to say it's too late, right? It's never too late. But
say
if
that again, say that again,
it's
say that
never too
again.
late. It's never too late. Sometimes the options that you will want are no longer there, right? But it's never too late. Um, you may have to do things like work part time or find something that you can do to bring in some extra income. Planning for retirement that's going to be 30 to 40 years, you have to put some dedication into that, right? And if you've gotten there, like you said, to your golden years, and you haven't put a lot of planning or a lot of thought into it, then you just may have to do some things that you don't want to do. Retirement just may not look like you envisioned in your head.
Well, I know for me, it's not an option. I don't even see myself. I can't even imagine being retired. Even if I had the resources all in one place. I mean, because I love what I do, and
Right.
so I
But you
can't
but it's a
imagine.
choice. But that's the
Yeah,
choice that you
right.
have.
I
At that
love
point,
it.
it's a choice, right?
I love
And
it.
so
Yes.
that's what you want. If you want, because I don't see myself retiring, because I love what I do. So I'm always going to be teaching and pouring into women. Even when I stop actively planning, I'll train the next generation of planners. I always doing just educational seminars. So I agree. I love what I do. But if I want to take 6 months off and not do anything, I have that choice. And
Yes.
so the planning is all about giving you more options for the
Yes.
future.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I could beat myself up, because I had a retirement plan. And
Mhm.
when I was in a situation where my job let go a lot of people, and
Mhm.
so my retirement plan went out the window because I was working at the time. I was working full time and going to school.
Mm.
And so when the job ended,
Mhm.
I cashed out my retirement money so that I
Mhm.
could keep my house
Right. Right.
and continue my education.
Mhm.
And I think about that, and I think, well, Vera, was that really a wise decision at
Right.
the time? At the time,
Mhm.
I thought it was, but then the housing bubble occurred, and I ended up losing the house anyway
Oh,
because of,
no.
yeah.
Right.
So but hindsight's always 2020,
Right. Yeah, definitely.
and I'm not beating myself up. It was a
No.
choice that I made. And
Mhm.
now I'm in a situation where I need to look at what is it I can do at this
Right.
age to
Mhm.
build legacy and to
Mhm.
have some resemblance
Right.
of finance.
Mhm.
So I'm leaving that up to you to kind of talk about that for in particularly, women that are in their 50s, 60s, or maybe even
Mhm.
70s, and they're trying to,
Right.
figure out, well, what can I do? What can I do? Can I do anything? So help us
Mhm.
out. Help us out, Selena.
Well, I mean, it's a little limited because in order to create the retirement plan, you need the income to support it, right? And so that goes back to you may have to work because retirement planning is literally putting enough money aside so you have money coming in every month. And you have to have a means of doing that. And so if you haven't done that, you may have to rely on things like Social Security. You know, I'm sure you get Social Security right now. So there's different. No.
I do.
Okay, you do. Mhm.
It is it is very limiting and
Right. It's
limited.
not a
You
lot,
know,
and that's
it's
the
not a
thing.
lot.
It's some income, but it's definitely not a lot.
No.
For women who are a little bit younger, maybe 58, 59, and you're thinking about taking your Social Security at 62, I would urge you to wait, if possible, because the later you wait, the bigger the check is. But some people can't wait, right?
Yes. Can I
So,
speak
and
on that?
mhm, yeah.
Yes. Both my sisters were diagnosed with cancer at the same time.
Mm-hmm,
And I was in that age where I could retire early.
mm-hmm,
And I knew that I needed to be there for them.
right.
So I took it out early
Mm-hmm,
because it was out of necessity,
right.
but so I clearly understand what you're saying, but I
Yes.
strongly encourage, if you don't have to take it out,
Yes.
don't take it out, because
Right.
you suffer in the long run,
Hmm.
because you end up with less than what you could have had you waited.
Right. And sometimes we do have the ability to work a little bit longer, and not take it out, make up the income doing something else. And then once you get maybe your full retirement age, then take it out. That's just one strategy just to make that check bigger. Because that's a check that's going to come until you pass away. It's guaranteed money,
Yeah,
once you start to take it out. So, I mean, that's one thing. But honestly, at that point, if you don't have that bucket of money, it's just like when you're working, you got to find a way to support yourself. And unfortunately,
absolutely.
that's doing part time work and different things like that. Um, it's not a whole lot of options, but there are some. And for those of you who can't work part time, it gets really dicey, right? It gets really interesting because at the end of the day, it comes down to cash flow, right? How are you going to get the money in? It's only so many ways money's going to come into the house. You're either working for it or you have investments that you're pulling from every month. And so if you don't have those two, then you have to just rely on the Social Security or family. A lot of women end up depending on family in order to help take care of them in their later years. And so that's another reason I urge, that the earlier planning so you don't have to rely on family.
Yes, and let me ask you this,
Hmm.
because I know we want to talk about some of the options that you make available, but
Hmm.
I had remembered asking you this when we first met and we first talked about the investment in gold and silver,
Hmm.
and what are your thoughts on that as well? So I'm going to let you talk about the many options for those who are in a position to plan. You touched on my situation, but
Right.
now let's talk about those that are actually in a position to plan
Hmm.
and to start at an early age. Okay, so I'm going to give you the floor and let you do that.
So, when starting to plan for retirement, of course, you can start with what you get at work. Some employers offer retirement plans, they offer 401ks. If your employer matches, I say and contribute to your 401k, get the match. There's other ways that you can plan for your retirement. You can invest outside of your 401k. There's different accounts that you can use if we're talking strictly retirement, but you have to make sure that you fall into the different categories for the different accounts. One of my favorite accounts for retirement is the Roth IRA. The reason that's one of my favorite accounts is because of the tax treatment. So when you start talking about retirement, where you should place your money, how you should be saving, there's a few different things that you have to think about. One of the big goals of financial planning is balancing today for tomorrow, right? And so you have to make sure that you're thinking about a time perspective, that you're not locking all of your money up until you're 59 and a half. But back to that Roth account. The tax treatment on that account is anything that you put into that Roth account, as it grows, it accumulates tax free. And so when you turn 59 and a half and you're able to now pull that money out of the account, you pull all that money out tax free. That's why it's one of my favorite retirement accounts. But since it's such a great account, the government puts limits on it. So if you make too much money, you can't use it. You can only put a certain amount in a year. So it's a lot of restrictions and limits on Roth IRA accounts. So if you're thinking about other places that you can start building your retirement funds, then I would look at that account, look at the rules to see if you qualify. So investing. You asked me about gold and silver. I'm more of a traditional wealth manager. I use the stock market for my investing. And so that's investing in stocks and bonds and different things like that inside of the stock market. Real estate is also good to have in your portfolio when you're thinking about what you should be accumulating it and building wealth and different things like that, using a stock market, using real estate, using different things like that if you have access to it, just to diversify your portfolio. Because when you get into retirement, you can turn all of that into different streams of income. And so, depending on your situation and where you are, there are also other strategies that we can use. Because one of the things that you want to think about when you're planning for retirement is, how is my money going to be taxed? That's a big one. We got to think about taxes. And so there's many, many different strategies depending on your situation on how you can potentially reduce tax now, as well as set yourself up to take your money out of retirement more efficiently from a tax perspective.
And we're gonna have to go to a commercial, but one of the things, like, the stock market is so volatile.
It is.
I mean, and so, I mean, that is,
I will agree with you, but
you
that's
know,
where you're going to make your money long term. So when you're investing for retirement, it's long term. So you don't have to look at the day to day.
okay. All
Yeah.
right. That's a good answer. Good answer. Okay. I'm going to go to a commercial and then we'll come right back
Okay.
as soon as I figure out which one I'm going to say. Okay.
CTR Media Network has amazing opportunities to expand the visibility of business owners, entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, and podcasters on our platform. Would you like to be interviewed on any of our podcasting shows where we're booking right now? So go to ctrmedianetwork.com. Would you like to have an ad in our upcoming Podcast Revolution magazine? Well, simply go to our website and place your ad today. We also have commercial placement opportunities. We would love to play your commercial during the airing of our CTR Media Network Live and the Tina Ramsey Show. We would love to partner with you. If you feel that your business is a right fit, contact us about our sponsorship opportunities. CTR Media Network has a variety of different opportunities to fit every budget. So reach out to us by going to ctrmedianetwork.com and book the appropriate ad for yourself today.
CTR Media Network. Let me tell you, I am really honored to be a part of this network. As a matter of fact, for the month of May, I ranked number 3.
Oh,
And yes, I ranked number 3. And so we're all over the world, and we are on podcasts as well as on various stations. So if you are interested in being one of my sponsors, or if you want a commercial, then by all means consider the Vera Thomas Show to meet your needs and to make it a win-win situation for you and for me. And speaking of which, I am asking you to consider donating to the Vera Thomas Show. Yes, you can donate by going to Cash App, Instill Great, PayPal, or Zelle, the Vera Thomas Show 1117 at gmail.com. Your support helps me to better serve you. So please join me by donating or even considering being a sponsor or advertising with me. And with that, I am going to play another commercial, and then we're going to come back and finish our conversation talking about how people can start holding on to their money and saving for their futures. So we will be right back. I think I'm going to do Mama Knows. Let me get her. Okay, where is she? There she is. Okay.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products because Mama knows what you need.
Mama knows what you need. And let me tell you, the products, oh my God, they smell so good.
Nice.
And they are for all ethnic groups,
Mhm.
males, females, and children. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Mama Knows. Check out Mama Knows. It's mamaknowsproducts.com. All right, all right. Now back to you and what we were talking about. Okay, so
So,
tell us more about, we talked about the Roth, we talked about
mhm.
stocks and bonds, we talked about the fact that they are volatile. Do
Yes.
you do anything with crypto and Bitcoin and that kind of stuff as well?
Not professionally, personally. I look because I have to know, right? I need to know what's out there, but I
Yeah.
don't do it for my clients. Just because it's so new, there's not enough data. And so the investments that I use for my clients to grow their wealth long term is strategies that have been tested and they've been around for a while. Different companies that's been around for a while. They have data that we can analyze. So when I'm investing for you, I'm using things that are more known and have more data, right? Crypto and all of that. It's definitely great to get your foot in if you like learning new things and like risk and different things like that. I say try it out. Like I said, I dibble and dabble on the side just to kind of know what's going on. But for my long term wealth, for what I'm building for my retirement, I use primarily the stock market and real estate.
Okay.
And so
Well,
you
let's
probably have a lot of people out there that disagree with me and, oh, crypto is the future and all of that stuff. It very well may be. But from what I'm doing currently is I'm using what's been working, right, for
I
years.
hear
And as
you.
data and as the research changes, then strategies change. You always change as new data and new research comes out. So right now I'm using the latest research, which works in retirement planning.
Okay, now let's talk about wealthy people because there are basically five areas that wealthy people focus in on. You
Okay.
mentioned one of them, real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and then collectibles
Mm-hmm.
and fine arts, and so real estate, fine arts, collectibles, and then the other two are gold and silver. And
Mm-hmm.
in the past, the normal Joe, the normal person, couldn't invest
Right.
in gold and silver like that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so I know that it's not a part of your platform, but it might be something you might want to explore in
Right.
your future for something that you might want to look at in the
Mm-hmm.
future.
Right.
So in looking at what it is that you offer, and well, let's talk about these banks. Because come
Mm-hmm.
on, we've got some serious issues going on with our banks. And
Right.
then if you can kind of speak to fiat dollars, the
Mm-hmm.
fiat coin, which come on, okay. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
So with the with the banks, right? Everybody saw what happened to SVB, right? So I will say this, you know about FDIC insurance, right? So your money is protected up until $250,000 inside of banks. So it's not something to be super afraid of that you're just going to lose all of your money in the bank. So I like to take the fear off of the table first. But SVB was I'm not going to say it was a special case, but it was how they were structured. It was just really a balloon waiting to happen, how they invested their money in certain type of bonds and different things like that. And when interest rates in the bond market has been doing like this, because we know interest rates have started to rise. When interest rates rise, then the the bonds that they had their money in, it wasn't worth as much. And so it was really just how they were structured. So don't think the banking system is going to follow SVB because it is not, right? Your money is protected FDIC by the government. A lot of people just say, "Oh, I don't trust the government either with my money." But
And
Mhm,
and I do know for a fact that there were people that tried to get their money out, and the
mhm.
banks don't hold all the money. That
No,
you
they
know,
don't. No.
all your money is not. If you had $250,000
Right.
and you went to the bank and said, "I want to withdraw all my money," they're
No,
not going to
no
have it
way now.
all.
They don't keep the money like that. They take the money and they invest it. That's why SVB was in such trouble because they take the money and they invest it in safer investments, bonds, different things like that. But because of the state of the economy and the interest rates rising and bonds just not holding the values, they lost a lot of the money in those safer investments. So no, you may not be able to go in and pull out all of your money at one time because the banks they don't hold it, they invest it. And so that's why, honestly, for me and my clients and how I plan, yes, we do have money in the bank because you do need an emergency fund, you do need a reserve, you do need access to cash. That should not be the bulk of your money. Just like the banks invest the money that they have, you should be investing the bulk of your money that you don't need right away. I never advocate for someone to have that much money in the bank. Yes, have enough for your short term, the things that you need for short term, like your emergency fund, different goals that you have for the next 3 years. Yes, let's keep that liquid. Anything outside of that, let's do what the banks do. They invest their money. And so let's invest our own money.
Valid, valid point. And but please beware. And now let's talk about the fact that the dollar. Let's
Mhm.
be real. The dollar is only worth.
Yes, inflation. It is I hate going to the grocery store. Like I absolutely hate going to the grocery store because of how much money I am spending, right? And that's
Yes.
because of inflation. The government is working to bring down inflation. Who knows when that's going to come around, right? And so one of the strategies to combat inflation, it has to go back to investing. We got to find a way to grow our money. And so that means not keeping a whole lot of cash and just making sure that you are investing a lot of your money to help combat inflation. So yes, I mean, I feel it too. There's not much we can do about it. And in times of just high inflation, we just got to be more careful about what we're doing, what we're spending money on, different things like that, making sure that your plan is solid. You have a fully funded emergency fund, and then you're investing what you can invest so you can get a return on that money to help kind of beat some of that inflation, make some money on the money that you have.
Let's talk about the digitalization of our money.
Hmm.
Now, Biden passed a bill
Hmm.
that enables us to digitalize our money and where the dollar may not even be that important. And I know there are some states that have opted to use gold and silver rather than the dollar. Arkansas
Hmm.
is one of those states, as a matter of
Hmm.
fact. And
Okay.
so we're at it. Come on now, Selena, we are at a serious critical point
Yes.
where our dollar is concerned, where our investments are concerned, where our economy as a whole is concerned. And
Right.
I know you're the expert. You're the expert.
So I haven't done all the research into that yet. I mean, those are newer developments. I need to figure out what they're talking about when they're talking about digitizing the money and gold and silver and different things like that. So I don't want to speak on something I haven't fully researched yet.
Okay.
I
All
never
right.
do that. So I'll be quick to tell you I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Right. And I just haven't. No, no. And I haven't taken the time, honestly, to sit down and just research that and where it's going and what the consequences are going to be. I will, and I am, because it's going to be important to see how it impacts.
Yes.
What's the long term effects of it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
definitely on my radar to look into that to make sure I understand. It's really more the long term effects of that. But
Yes.
in all transparency, I just have not because I'm currently studying for another designation. And so I'm kind of have tunnel vision right now. So I haven't been keeping up like I should. Once I pass these tests, then I'll get back on studying for that type of thing. So I
Okay.
will say right now, the financial planning sites that I follow and different things like that, no alarms have been raised that we need to start making drastic changes to our plans, right? So I'm not seeing, I do keep abreast on all of the financial planning sites and different things in the news like that. So nothing in 2 years, this is going to happen, right? So I haven't seen any, the end of the world is coming type news yet that would make me feel like I need to change my client's long-term financial picture. So
Okay.
if I get some news like that before I get to dig into it, I'll let you know, Miss Thomas. And we can come
Okay.
back on to tell the people, hey, it's changed.
Okay. And seeing, and I wasn't trying to put you on the spot,
Oh no, it's a
you
very
know.
valid question. I'm gonna just be transparent. I am currently studying for my next designation.
What, tell me about your next designation. Tell me about it.
Okay. So you hear me talk a lot about retirement, right? Retirement, preparing people for retirement. There's two stages of actually retirement planning. So there's the accumulation phase where while you're working, you're saving money, you're investing money, we're building our portfolio. So we like to say that's going up the mountain. Once you get to the top of the mountain, meaning when you're ready to retire, there's a different phase, decumulation. How are you now going to spend the money that you've been accumulating for the past 30 years? That's an art to be able to take that money and now turn it into an income that you don't want to run out. And so the designation that I'm getting is retirement income planning, getting to the top of the mountain and being very knowledgeable and helping people come down the mountain until they pass away, making sure they leave legacies and different things like that. You know, there's retirement risk, there's inflation, living too long, healthcare risk, different things like that. So making sure that not only are you saving, but you're thinking about the different risks that you could encounter in retirement. So I'm working on a retirement designation right now that I
Well,
will finish with by the end of the year.
well, congratulations,
Thank
because
you.
you will be the guru.
Yes, that is the goal.
That's the goal, to be the
That's
good
the goal.
guru in financial
Because we have a
planning.
retirement crisis right now in the United States. People are not putting enough emphasis on retirement planning. And they don't understand, like, you have to be able to live for. My grandmother lived until she was 90. So that's 30 years that you're not working, that you have to have income coming in from somewhere. And so I'm
Yeah,
choosing to focus on that to be able to help people to get up the mountain to retirement efficiently and then come down the mountain just as efficient.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. For those that it's not too late.
It's never too late. You know, we just, your options are just limited, but it's
Yeah,
never too late.
and I hear you loud and clear. It's never too late. It's never too
It's
late.
never too
I
late.
gotta keep that in mind. It's
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Now let's get on talk about a little personal stuff here. I know
Uh-oh.
you have a daughter,
Yes.
beautiful daughter.
Thank you.
This is your first child,
Yes. Yes.
and you, I know that in terms of planning and what it is that you and your husband are doing, and you're young, and so it's awesome that put your you you have you're not only telling people what they need to do, but you're
Mhm.
walking the talk.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I meant to say. You're walking the talk. And so one of the things I know that you had mentioned that you're in the process of moving into your own place. So
Mhm.
real estate is one of the key things that you're doing right now. And so how did you and your husband meet? And tell me about this relationship and what makes it the
That's
beautiful work.
not financial planning.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. How did we meet? So you say I'm young. I am young, but I'm not as young as you probably think I am. I'll be 41 in August.
You're young.
So I mean that is young, relative. It is young.
Yeah, yeah.
But we met 23 years ago at college. We met our freshman year at Albany State. Um, Things didn't happen at that time. Went our separate ways. Life happened. He found me 5 or 6 years ago on Facebook. We reconnected, and the rest is pretty much history from that point. So I've known him for 23 years, and we've been married for two. We got married in 21, and we had our daughter last year, last April. So she just turned one this past April.
That's awesome. Now
Yeah.
Albany, isn't that an HBCU?
Yes, it is. Yep.
That's
Green
and
country.
Georgia has more HBCUs than any other state
Yeah,
in the country.
I didn't
There
know that.
are 10 HBCUs in Georgia alone.
Wow. I did know that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
To an
So
HBCU, I wouldn't change it for the world.
let's talk about that.
Hmm.
What is it about that experience? And you say you wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
Hmm.
And how does it shape you and your experiences right now with what's going on with our economy, what's going on with our society, what's going on with our families?
It was good seeing Black excellence, right? Everywhere you turn, it was people that looked like me. We were all going after one goal, right? And so, especially my experience, I came in with a great group of people. And so we helped each other, we uplifted each other. It was almost like no man left behind. And so it was just great to see a group of people that look like you striving for the same thing, and then to see all of us walk across the stage almost at the same time was just beautiful. How it impacts me now and in the economy, I wouldn't say it impacts me in that way, but it did give me a solid foundation into who I am, what I can accomplish, especially with what goes on in the news sometimes, right? And so I have a very, very solid foundation that Black is beautiful. You know, we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. So it really instilled that in me. And so with that, I feel like I can do anything. Just like I left corporate America to go out on my own, I have that confidence to be able to move like that because I saw so many people around me, so many young people around me doing that. You know, it just makes you more confident, makes you just more sure of yourself. And so that was my experience. It was just a confidence booster that just I carry with me today, right? I can do anything. There is no limit to what I can do. So,
That's beautiful. That
mhm,
is beautiful. And I didn't go to an HBCU. I wish I had, but I didn't. And but I value that experience that I
mhm,
hear about from other people, and I just think it's wonderful. It is
mhm.
wonderful.
Yep,
So,
it was great.
okay. I know that I've thrown a bunch of stuff out at you, but that's a part of having conversation. You
I
know what
see.
I'm
I was not ready. I was not ready, but
But
we
you
here we
answered
are.
the questions. You answered the questions. You did a good job. You did a good job. So, okay. Now I want you to tell me what you want to talk about.
Oh, what I want to talk about.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we've been talking a lot about what I want to talk about. I really like to push the awareness of just planning, right? So we talked about my framework earlier. You said it in my bio. So I have a 4-part framework that I like to just keep at the forefront to guide the conversations. The first one is clarity. You really can't accomplish anything financially without being clear, right? You have to be clear on where you are, and then you have to be clear on where you're going. And so, clarity, that's the first part. We have to figure that part out so we can create the roadmap. The second part is education. I am huge on financial literacy, financial education, making sure that if I'm giving you different strategies, that I'm explaining why I'm suggesting different things, right? So education is the second thing. I love teaching. I love talking about finances. I could do it all day. The third one is strategy, because as I was kind of talking about earlier, there's different strategies for different levels, right? I talked about the Roth. You can do the Roth if you make a certain amount of money. Outside of that, there's a whole lot of different strategies that we can put together. Just depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. So strategy is the next one. And then the big one, which all my clients, they're just like, come on, Selena, it's accountability, right? So I can give you a plan. I can say, Ms. Vera, you need to do X, Y, and Z. If you do X, Y, and Z, then you're going to hit your goal. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, we wasted time. Like, what was the point? And so, accountability, I'm really, really big on accountability, holding you accountable for what you say you want to do. It's not what I want to do, it's what you say you want to do. You have goals, dreams, and aspirations. I can give you the roadmap to get there, but it's up to you to actually do the work. And so that's my superpower. I love holding people accountable. Ms. Vera, did you save this amount of money that we talked about? Right? Did you invest? Is it automated? Different things like that. So that's the framework that I stay within. That right there helps me to keep my clients focused, keep them on track, and just make them clear on what are we doing. Financial planning is really about setting yourself up to hit the goals financially that you want to hit. Put in some focus, put in some attention to it. I like to say I help women build wealth on purpose. We're not doing anything by accident. It's going to be on purpose. We have a plan. We know where we're going. And so what I want to talk about is just planning in general, just awareness. We can't close our eyes anymore. The way the economy is going, the way things are changing, all of this new stuff is coming out. We don't have the luxury of just spending money, not knowing how much we're spending, not investing, not saving, not doing anything, and just kind of closing our eyes to what our finances look like. So awareness is what I push anytime I'm able to have a platform and speak to multiple people.
Awareness precedes change. And let me ask you this. You talked about accountability. Have you ever dismissed a client because they were not holding themselves accountable after you had worked with them and gave them the plan for action? You need to do this, and this. Have there been a time where you had all this stuff in motion, you knew what they needed to do, and they weren't doing it?
Luckily, no, I haven't had to, because I've been fortunate enough to attract people who actually want better. They want to see their financial futures change. And so if we have a conversation and this is what you need to do, luckily my clients, they get it done. Now, it may take them a little bit longer than what we've talked about. 6 months may take a year may take 2 years, but life happens, right? Your financial plan should be flexible because things change. And so, no, luckily I have not had to deal with, we've pushed timelines, because of life, because of, I'm still going to close my eyes and just spend money and not focus. But it was never from a place of just defiance, right? It was
Okay.
always a place of, I'm not ready mentally. And so that I can deal with, because it's a large part of it is mental, right? A large part of it is making the commitment, making the decision to, I'm going to invest $500 a month. And I'm just going to do this without stopping unless something happens, right? That's a mental thing, especially if you're not used to doing it. And so I can work through I call it the mental headspace stuff, right? A lot of us, we don't have good relationships with money because of what we saw growing up. we have that lack mindset to I have to hold on to my money because it may not come. Money is energy. It's an exchange. It's back and forth. You don't have to hold on to it that tight. Honestly, when you hold on to it like that, that's when it doesn't come. You have to let it flow. But that's all a mindset thing that we have to sometimes work through. And so sometimes I have to take off my financial planning hat and put on my just Selena hat and just say, okay, look, I know this is maybe your money story. This is how you were taught about money, but that's not reality. Money is going to continue to flow. You can't hold on to it like that. You have to be responsible with it. So I know that was a long way to answer the question, but no,
Perfect.
I have
Perfect.
not luckily had to dismiss a client for that. We've had to work through stuff, but it was I tell people, if you're struggling with money, if you're struggling with managing it and different things like that, take a look back at how you saw it growing up. It will open
Mhm.
up a lot. You'll understand your behavior a lot more by taking a look back. And once you can understand that behavior, it's easier to change because now you're aware of it. So
Yeah.
again, back to that
That's
awareness,
so you also coach with about financial mindset, having the mindset
if needed.
to
If
okay.
needed, it's not. I wouldn't say it's an official part of my practice, but just me being the person that I am. If I see struggle there, then yes, I do speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You needed to expound upon that question. That was important. That was great stuff. Great stuff, girl. All right, I have another commercial. I'll be back.
Okay.
Now, my guest is talking about investing in various different venues. One of the other ways that you might want to consider is through soundmoneybenefits.com. So go to www.soundmoneybenefits.com and look at some other options in addition to what my guest is also talking about. So sound money benefits. Yes. Okay. So let me shut that down. Now we have, can you believe the time
I
is going by?
cannot. I was telling you, I was like, so we were going to talk an hour. I am still in awe that it's been 53 minutes.
Well, we had a lot to talk about. I told you.
Apparently so. No, this is
Yes.
fun. This is
Yes.
good.
So you have been doing this work now for how long?
So officially, I started in 2019. That's when I left corporate America in 2019. But unofficially, I have been doing financial planning for years. So just not in an official capacity. So if you want to be technical, 2019 is when I actually got into the industry officially. And
That's
before then,
amazing.
I spent my first half of my life career, like I said earlier, in IT, managing a operations department of like 20 plus people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you come to recognize your purpose and your passion? What was it that made you realize this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life?
I've always known that I love dealing with money, helping people with finances, but I think I just started doing some internal soul searching when I just stopped finding joy in my job. It became difficult, it became stressful. And so once you start, it was either going to be a job change or career change, right? And I was like, I don't think I want to go to another job doing the same thing. And so I started asking myself the internal questions. What do you really like to do? What really makes you happy? And so I asked myself that question and went on with life, right? And then it just starts popping up little stuff. A friend calls and said, hey, can you help me budget this? And I'm like, sure, let's do it. And I get another question, should I invest in this? And I'm like, 1 second, let me look, and I'm like, you know what? I really like doing this. And that realization just kind of hit me. It still took me a minute to actually make the leap, to leave corporate and get into financial planning, but it was just doing some internal work and really being focused on what do I like to do, what tasks make me happy when it comes up. Because when I started thinking about it, I didn't know. I've been doing computers all my life. So I'm like, what else am I going to do? And so I started just being intentional about how I felt when I did different stuff. And I realized that every time I did something financial, I was like, this is great. And so that's how I kind of like, I think this is it.
So, audience, for those of you that are struggling with what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? Think about what brings you joy. What makes you happy? What is it that you do that you would do whether you made money or not?
That doesn't
Think
feel like
about it.
work.
And it doesn't feel like work. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I asked that question so that people can kind of see the process that you went through
Yes.
for making that decision, that maybe there's someone listening out here. You may hate your job. You may hate what you have to do and get up every morning to do.
Yes. That's
So
not
find
living.
no, that's not.
No.
And when you consider a job as 1/3 of your life,
Yes.
it can affect how you eat, how you sleep, how you relate to other people, how you even relate to yourself. So if you don't like your work, chances are you don't like your life.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Think about what is it that makes me happy?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that I would do whether I was making money or not? What is it that brings me joy? And it's different it's different for different people. I
Mm-hmm.
remember an accountant friend of mine. This guy, it was like he just lit up when it came to numbers, right?
Yep.
And I'm thinking, nah,
Yep.
you know, I couldn't see it. But everybody, God made everybody to have their own purpose
Yes.
and their
Of
own passion.
course. Yes.
And just being the best at whatever it is you can be. Just
Yes.
being your best, doing your best, and living in your purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
listen, this has been a pleasure. And you have given some great information and I can't even talk, invaluable information. It was like the cat got my tongue. Very, very important information. You have educated, you have uplifted, encouraged. You have done exactly what I want to do on my
I hope
show.
I
You did.
did. I hope
You
I
did. You did. You did. And I'm going to give you the last words.
did. Okay.
And then we're going to, after she finished saying what she has to say, I'm going to say good night and I will see you on Thursday. You have a great week. So I'm leaving it up to you.
All right, thank you. Well, I had a blast being here talking about one of my favorite topics. And if you don't remember anything that we talked about tonight, remember to start to plan, to start to think about where you are and where you're trying to go. Without a plan, you're not going to go anywhere. Make sure that you're growing year over year. You can actually see your assets growing. Make sure that we're doing more than we did the year before this year. Just make sure that you're planning. For the next 2 months, I am offering, because I'm so passionate about retirement planning, I am offering free cat got my tongue, retirement strategies. So you can see currently where you are right? How are you currently structured? What are you currently doing right now? And start to think about, is that enough? Do I need to do more? Do I need to start looking at different things? So I am assessment. That's the word I was looking for. I'm doing retirement assessments for the next few months. The next 2 months, I'm opening up my calendar to do complimentary retirement assessments for June and July. So
So
if
how
that's
do people get in touch
I
with
was
you
just
to
about
do
to
that?
say, you can find me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is just my name. I keep it super simple. Selena Teasley. You can Google me, see my smiling face, and you can send me a message, and I can tell you how we can get started. So, my passion for retirement planning, I want to open up my calendar, a few slots for June and July, and I'm going to do complimentary retirement assessments.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you heard that. She's going to do compliment. And maybe I need to talk to you too.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk.
It's never, you said it's never too
It's never
late.
too late. It's never too late.
And so, listen, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to please hold on while I close us out. And again, everybody, have a great week. And I will see you on Thursday. Thank you, Selena, for
Thank
being my
you for
guest. It's been an honor having you here with me. I've enjoyed you.
having that.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. All right. So hold on. Don't go anywhere. All
Okay.
right. So with that, good night, everybody.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it.